Hello and welcome everyone to this first Lean webinar of 2025. Um, the very first festival which comes in the year is Sankranti, and it's something which is important even for people working in renewable energy because that's the end of the winter, and then from that day onwards we are going to get more and more sunshine in the Indian subcontinent, at least for the 6 months or so, except the rainy days. So this is the time when we can and should be making the most of this sunshine that we are receiving. So when I came to know about this very interesting um, activity being planned by our speakers today, I thought that I should share this. We should share this with the Clean membership. So, for those of you who are new to Clean, I am Priyadarshini Karve. I am the CEO of Clean Energy Access Network. This is a not-for-profit organization, but it is a industry association of entrepreneurs working in the decentralized renewable energy sector, and also some research associations, policy think tanks, and so on, which are focused primarily on the decentralized and distributed renewable energy systems. It's an India-based organization. Our speakers today are Mr. Piyush Seksaria and Miss Vishakha Chandere. Piyush is an architect and a geographer by training, and he works in natural resource management, disaster risk management, and so on. And more in the context of this webinar, he is a co-founder of a Facebook group focused on solar cooking. Vishakha is an electrical engineer by training and a founder of Urja Box LLP, which is focused on promoting fossil fuel free cooking in both rural and urban areas. And Urja Box is also a member of Clean. So I now hand over to Piyush to talk about the Facebook group and tell us what special is being organized. Over to you, Piyush.
Thanks, Priyadarshini. So, well, firstly, thank you so much for thinking about me as a speaker. I honestly, as compared to many people here on this forum, have not done really much other than setting up and running, co-setting up actually a Facebook group called the Solar Cooking Club. Some of you here are members. So, I maybe talk briefly about how my interest in solar cooking came about and what this Facebook group has meant personally and also for the larger community of people that we've been able to connect. So, like many of us, in my childhood, I was witness to these box solar cookers that were part of, I guess, some government scheme that came home. And they were put to fairly good use for quite some time. I remember very clearly things like roasted groundnuts being, looked. We waited for those roasted groundnuts. They had something a little different. There was something unique about them. Not so much in the taste, but in this idea that it's happening in this box on the rooftop. With time, some of these boxes suffered some kind of need for repair. Mothers probably got a little bored of them, I'm not sure. But in most houses, these boxes sort of disappeared or got dismantled. However, there was Mrs. Ladha, or as Ladha auntie as they call her, an immediate neighbor who actually continued to use this for maybe a couple of decades at the least. I would say cut short to a period where I had the opportunity of working on some cleaner cooking options. This is actually a little village in Mali, and this goes back almost 20 years now, at the edge of the Sahara in this region called the Sahel. where I was building a school with the village community. And one of the things I realized is that fuel wood access was becoming a major problem. Um, and using a local NGO called Yaktu, we actually did a little intervention in the village where the women members of Yaktu came in and trained um, initially women of the village where I was working, and then they realized that they need to work with the men. And then the men got involved, and it became a small project of its own. And we were able to almost achieve 100% upgradation of the stubs, which are basically 3 stone stubs, into something that was more fuel efficient. And I think the biggest learning was the kind of impact a seemingly small intervention made on the lives of the people. And I remember most clearly this friend of mine from the village called Michelle, who said that, Piyush, we never knew this. We never knew that this is possible. This means so much to us. And I think that stayed with me in my other work, which involved some work in Chhattisgarh about 6, 7, 8 years back, where I was working on creches um, run by the Department of Health in tribal blocks. And there, one of the problems was fuel wood stoves in the creche itself, in one corner, which were cause of smoke, but also potentially risky, considering that the children were all toddlers. And they're using some already existing models of improved cook stoves. We actually went in and worked and put in place a fairly large program. So I always had this interest in improved cooking stuffs. And during COVID, um, I remember seeing the post of, I think, a forest officer from Andhra Pradesh who was using a solar cooker. I was in Pune then, which is where my parents live. And he had sourced it from a Pune-based supplier. And so using the internet, I got in touch with this supplier and I got one delivered. And I started some initial experiments, cooking basic things like potatoes and rice. And that's when I connected with another friend in Delhi, Jiten. And the two of us, just off the cuff, thought, why not set up a group? It's a good way to maybe just connect. I'm sure there are other people out there who are doing solo cooking, and maybe rather than be struggling to figure out what to do, how to do, we create a Facebook group. And that's how we set up, very simply, something called the Solo Cooking Club, without any aspirations of doing anything significant. It was probably something a little more positive than the kind of tough time that everybody was going through during COVID. And it grew slowly, but it surely grew, and we had some really interesting people joining. There were people like Vishakha who are into solo cooking and other related matters of energy access. There were solo cooker manufacturers like um, Rudra, and Bapu Deshmukh from Pondicherry, Rudra from Gujarat. And this became an interesting small community where people were sharing what they were cooking. Some people were interested in solo cookers, some had old ones and they wanted to repair them. And slowly and surely, this group grew. And I remember we also did a day-long event. And unfortunately, we were not able to repeat it, but it was great fun where we sort of, and it was one of these typical days where it was either an equinox or something like that. And where we invited some of the group participants to actually talk about their experience of solo cooking. And we had people a bit from all over the country who spoke with different models. Somebody was using box solo cookers, somebody was using parabolic solo cookers. And we mixed it a bit with, make your own solo cooker, where Vishaka led a session. And we also did some solo cooker art, where we painted on fabric using the theme of solo cookers. So all in all, it was a great fun day. And we got to also meet people who were active in the solo cooking space, but were kind of quiet on social media. And that was a nice thing that came out of that. We had hoped to do this more often, but I guess these things take more effort than one thinks they do. And we haven't been able to do it again, but maybe this session today would lead to that. I'll probably end this small introduction with saying that today we have 5,500 members, about 3,500 of which are from India, about 500 from the US. And then there's quite a bit of participation from African countries and also from South Asia, including Pakistan. From these 500, of course, 5,500, probably there are 50 odd people who are more active in terms of posting, commenting, contributing actively. And within India, the largest number of people, about 350, are from Bangalore, followed by Pune. And I think this probably represents trends of the use of alternative sources of energy, whether it is solar cookers or solar thermal, or generally, I think a greater sort of proactiveness towards these matters. It also probably has got to do with where some of the initial members came from. And I think it's nothing really exceptional, the group, but Facebook groups have their own dynamics, and I think we are able to keep it clean, just like this forum that you all have created. And we try our best to keep it inclusive and responsive, where we try and respond to people. And I think that's the kind of feedback I got from members when I put out a post saying that we're going to do this webinar. Please share what this group means to you. So 4 or 5 people responded to that. And this was the sense. There's information, there's inclusion, and there's a lot of encouragement to this activity. So maybe with a small, brief introduction, I'll pass the baton now back to Priyadarshini. Thanks.
Thanks, Piyush, for this very interesting information, and that there are 5,000 odd people who are, I mean, they have remained part of the group. Even if many times we find that even if people are silent, they do see some value, and that is why they continue being part of a community. That has been my experience also over the years. So I am now going to invite Vishakha.
So sorry about this whole scenario. Actually, I'm traveling for work, again related to some solar activity, and I'm low on battery and low on electricity. So that is where I'm right now. But it's nice to see so many people joining in to talk about solar cookers. So as Piyush said that, it's nice to be a part of the solar cooking club and see so many people take up solar cooking. As he mentioned, in India, though we get enough sunlight, our experience has been that many people whom we think should be using solar cookers actually are not aware about solar cookers, but people who want to use solar cooker do not get enough sunlight. So how do we really connect with each other and spread awareness about using solar cookers? There are different perceptions about solar cooking that people have. And so that is why we decided to do this activity from Makar Sankranti to Ratha Saptami, which marches the onset of the solar season. And the Ratha Saptami technically is the day when people worship God Sun, so that the sun moves into the northern hemisphere in his chariot. So that's why it's called Ratha Saptami. And that's when the solar season begins. And the solar cooking season also begins in full swing. So the idea is that we, all the people who are into the solar sector, solar cooker sector, there are different models. People are experimenting on their own. There are people who have experimented with the solar cookers, and there are people who have experimented with the solar recipes also. So we want to feature all of these people in these 15 days, that there is so much to learn about solar cooking. There's so much to work in this sector, and there are various aspects of using the sun's energy. It can be linked to gender, it can be linked to climate action, it can be and carbon emission reduction. It can be linked to taste, it can be linked to the cost of cooking, it can be linked to mere fun of cooking in a solar cooker made by yourself. So right from DIY solar cookers to buying the expensive solar cookers, there is a whole range of variety in the cooking, the recipes, in different geographies, how people are using that. And the Solar Cooking Club really, captures all of these things very well. So we are through Jawbox, we are trying to do small videos of recipes, and people who are working in different areas or different geographies in this using solar cookers. We want to feature them, and these videos will be kind of motivating for others, or respond will be maybe would respond to the questions that they have in their mind about solar cooking. So that's the whole concept behind this activity that we have. So yeah, so that is it.
Thank you very much for sharing. So basically, the idea is to use these 15 days to um, focus on solar cooking in different ways, using different devices and different types of cooking, and then showcase the whole thing using the Facebook group. But have you explored other social media? Because Facebook is sort of going out of trend now. So, is there any possibility of or a thought about using other social media platforms? And how can we take this even beyond the Facebook group?
So I'm happy to go on this first, and then maybe Vishakha can come in. So clearly, I also feel that especially a theme like this should be on other social media platforms, including Instagram, and there's so many others now that one doesn't necessarily actively engage with. I've seen some of our members using YouTube very well in terms of putting out regular videos where they're cooking. And often these are very basic videos where they're actually filming themselves and they're talking and, describing what's being cooked. But they're really delicious videos because the food is being cooked in a solar cooker and it seems so much fun. And sometimes these solar cookers also, innovated ones. There is Somdrej, and then there's Dr. Vinayak from Mumbai, who's made his own little box cookers using, I think, pizza boxes. And there's Somdrej Solar Cookers who does some really interesting, innovative work, and she's always innovating and improving, sometimes heating water, sometimes making a really small, small box. There's a small little box in which she's cooking small quantities, innovating with wafer packets as a reflective medium. So I think I've seen members using some really interesting YouTube sort of channels. The other thing I feel outside of social media, and we tried this once with Vishakha and other gentlemen in Pune, where we actually set up solar cookers in one of the public parks in Pune. Unfortunately, that day turned out to be a slightly cloudy day. But it was good fun. People came, they wanted to know more, they chatted, they hung around. This was actually during COVID, so there was a little bit of lesser crowd there, but I'm sure It's the kind of place, public parks are a lovely place to set up open air cooking. And if we had sun that day, we would have definitely cooked something and shared it with the crowd. I also find that some members, including Bappu Deshmukh, has been doing work with schools where they actually do sessions where they go through this whole, from a science education perspective, where they end the exercise by actually making solo cookers and organize the children in groups and make solo cookers, and the children then actually make something in it. They may be doing something as simple as heating water or doing something a little more. And I find that these kind of physical manifestations of solo cooking can be really great. And I know that Vishakha also does these sessions, and maybe Vishakha can talk more about that. But I feel that, yes, a mix of social media and actual sessions would be great. I keep proposing this to people, but one of the challenges is that I feel I use a box solo cooker. So lugging around a box solo cooker is a bit of a challenge. But typically people are interested, and I feel that we should use these kind of spaces where we are going out camping or we are going out with family to actually set up a little solo cooker and get people to experience the joys of solo cooking. I'll end with that, and maybe Vishakha can come in and share how she's been doing stuff.
So so we conduct awareness sessions in person, and now through Instagram also. Plus, we do have our YouTube channel as well, as Ujja Box. And through all of these mediums, we keep on sharing updates about the various models of solar cooker we have, or whatever new recipe we have tried to cook. That is something that we share through the social media and through the awareness sessions that we conduct. So far, through our awareness sessions in person, we have demonstrated the solar cookers to around 2,000 people. We also partnered with another organization like Solar is My Passion, who conducts trainings for solar PV installers. And that is where we also demonstrated our solar cookers. And just yesterday, the same activity was conducted in Ahmedabad by our friend Devang and the Solar is My Passion group. So there are activities where we are trying to reach out to people in every possible way, so that they get access to they get an hands-on experience of the cooker. They get to taste the food that is being cooked. They get to see how long it takes to cook or what are the dishes. How can solar cookers be used as time management devices? We also conduct online sessions for awareness about solar cookers, or maybe doing sessions like uh, participating in exhibitions. So just this month we'll be participating in 2 to 3 exhibitions where we'll be exhibiting various solar cooker models and maybe do some demonstrative cooking as well. Our experience so far has been that exhibiting and letting people have the feel of the solar cookers is one of the best ways to let them know about solar cooking, understanding the model, uh, comparing various models, and selecting the model that they would like to have the best. So we do have a understanding also that what is it that people are looking for when it comes to solar cooking. We realize that there is a lot of attraction in people about solar cooking. They want to use it, but then there are operational challenges, practical challenges, and you know, innovation and automation probably would be the answer, is where we are reaching to understand. So for promotion and awareness, as we said, using the technology like Instagram and other social media platforms is like YouTube is actually proving very effective. So whenever a customer buys a solar cooker, we can easily tell them that, okay, you can visit our YouTube channel or you can look at our Instagram videos and, uh, start using your solar cooker. And again, if you have any issues, we can help you solve those using a video call or give you after sales service through a video call also. So that is what we try to do to reach out to more people. And through platforms like Clean, where we get an opportunity to talk to even more people. So we would really welcome more and more such opportunities.
I also think that this is not so much about cooking as such, but also about focusing on the fact that we can directly use the thermal energy coming from the sun, because solar energy typically is now getting identified with photovoltaics. Although the most established solar energy technology is solar water heaters, so much so that nobody even thinks about DRE when one looks at a solar water heater. But general feeling in people's minds is that solar energy means you have photovoltaic panels and it becomes electricity, and then you put the electricity to use. Whereas there is a lot that can be done with the direct heat of the sun. So this is also an opportunity to focus on this thermal energy aspect of the sun. Also, there is, I think, a different way in which rural and urban people interact with this whole idea of solar cooking. So, would love to know some of your experiences, both of you, in that context also.
Vishika, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I think she's. Yeah, please go ahead,
Yeah.
Piyush.
Yeah, Piyush, I would speak after you.
Okay, so honestly, I've not had such a wide experience in terms of especially rural people, but um, in whatever limited I've seen, it's like magic, and it's actually magic even for urban folks. And I think in the rural areas, we have to have probably a different approach than in urban areas. In urban areas, I think it's still a bit like people who um, are aware, are more, say, ecologically sensitive, want to reduce their impact, or who are, motivated by the fact that this is something innovative. Um, so there is a bit of that space. I think, and I just want to narrate, I've done these sessions where I've taken a solar cooker to a children's home in Delhi, and we had a session on solar cooking. So I typically will start the session by showing them the box and telling them, okay, do you think we can just cook in it? And they typically say, okay, where's the gas? Where's the fuel wood? Where's the electricity? How is it even possible? And then we do this little exercise. We say, okay, we are going to try putting 4 items: potatoes, rice, groundnuts, and I think another one. And then I ask them to estimate what is the time. One is whether it'll cook at all or not, whether they think it'll cook or not. And if they think it'll cook, how long it'll take to cook. And we put this on a whiteboard, or we put this on the board. And then the children themselves load the solar cooker, and we'll typically invite the cook of the children's home to also come and be part of this exercise. And typically he or she is also like very amused and sometimes a bit annoyed that, you're wasting my time. I have so much to cook for the children. What is this? But some people always start doubting that, okay, this seems something, like it seems like something is going to happen. And so we load this up. And I typically take these magnifying glasses with me, and I get children to do an exercise which they have done otherwise, is that of burning paper using, or, trying to put a little bit on their skin to get a little like heat. And I see that people start getting interested, and then we do a little discussion where we're trying to explain what's happening, how is it, if it works, how is it going to work. And then depending on what time children or the participants I mentioned, we actually go in and take a look at the solar cooker to see what's happening. And then I get them to touch the solar cooker. And then at some point of time, you start smelling the cooked food. And the cook especially is very impressed because he or she is able to estimate that straight away, saying that, oh, the food is cooked. And then we end up very quickly, that food gets over, like then we eat it. And I found that exercise fascinating. But I must also add that in one of the children's home, I had given the option to the organizers that I'm happy to organize a solar cooker for you, but the cook should say yes. It should not be the children or you, because finally that person has to come onto the terrace and load it and stuff. And maybe I had to work harder with the cook, but she ended up saying that it's a great thing, but I'm not sure whether I can put it to use. And at least for now, we stayed with that. Maybe we'll try again this summer. But yeah, so I feel that there are lots of users. I've got a friend who has dogs, and I was not really able to put my solar cooker in Delhi for use because I was traveling a lot. So I landed up at her place and I left it with her. Initially, she and her husband were very skeptical that, what are we going to do with this? And I said, okay, just try whatever rice and eggs you make. And then very soon they realized that they were actually able to cook most of their the food for the dogs, that's eggs and rice, on a daily basis in the solar cooker. And it was saving them a lot of LPG. So I feel that this experience, whether it is rural or urban, this experience of that magic of solar cooking is something which really makes that difference. After which, there could be other reasons as to why somebody can take up a solar cooker or not. But I think this part, to me, is the key. Also, I can see some interesting participation from our attendees in the
There
chat
are
box, and there's
comments.
Devang also who's raised
Yeah.
his hand. So, Priyadarshini, up to you to.
But now I can't unmute. So, Vishakha, if you can unmute Devang. But before that, we can take the question that is already there in the chat from Nitin. That can we understand impact of the 2000 distributed solar cookers? Whether there is a mass scale propagation possible either in India or Africa?
I'm not sure if a mass scale propagation would work because the sunlight that everyone receives is different. As we have seen from the examples that Piyush gave, people might use solar cookers for different reasons. So we have had people who have used solar cookers only for roasting groundnuts or only for the roasting purpose. Similarly, there are people who have used solar cookers for cooking just one meal, or boiling milk, or keeping food warm, which has been cooked, and so that people can take it up in the afternoon and have that food. So mass scale, I'm not very certain how effective that would be for the propagation purpose. But what we have seen is that people who have tasted the food uh, and who have experienced that magic, as Piyush rightly said, that okay, just by the sun's energy or concentrating the sun's energy, you can actually cook it. Physics at work, you see, actually. Then that is like the ultimate marketing, I would say. Now, how do we do that on a mass scale? How do we reach out to maximum people? Maybe I feel that schools are one of the best mediums to do that. Apart from that, setting up small kiosks where people get to see, get to taste the food, and get to see the different models of solar cookers. Some people might want to actually make their own solar cooker experience for themselves and then go on to buy a better model. So there can be a number of ways Maybe we do not have enough data with us to formulate how to mass propagate it or how to trigger the mass adoption of it yet. Unlike electric cooking or other forms of cooking where you can just go on advertising, and plus all the solar cooker manufacturers are micro or medium scale industries who might not have enough budget to do that scale of marketing. Uh, Also from the government side, there is more support to other forms of cooking rather than solar cooking. So, whatever support system is needed for mass promotion, I'm not certain if we have that kind of support yet to do the mass promotion as such for the solar cooker. And having said that, to see the rural and urban divide, in the rural areas particularly, people are not aware at all about solar cooking. And the solar cookers are introduced to themselves. It has to be done on a continuous basis. They have to see people using the solar cookers continuously day in, day out, so that they start trusting the technology and they figure out their own ways, what is the best way for them to use solar cookers. Uh, so that perhaps may take some time and to devise certain ways to promote solar cookers in rural areas. In urban areas, we have maximum uptake of solar cookers, wherein, just like Piyush, many people have used solar cookers in their childhood or whenever, maybe in their past lives also. And so they have that memory, good memories about solar cooker. And whenever they have an opportunity to buy a solar cooker for themselves, again, they do come and they do buy a solar cooker. So just yesterday, someone said that we used a solar cooker 20 years ago and that taste is still fresh in our minds. So we want to buy a new solar cooker because until now we didn't know where we would get a solar cooker. So that experience has to be highlighted, that it is uncomparable that overall, and it does not seem like an effort once you get addicted to the taste and the whole process of solar. I think that is the thing.
Okay. Vishaka, can you try if you can unmute Devang? And in the meanwhile, there is one point which I have felt that while demonstrating or talking about solar cooking, I think it's important uh, uh, for us to highlight that although solar cooking may take longer time, as far as the cook is concerned, there is actually saving of time, because you load the cooker and then you can go away and do your own work without having to check on the cooker all the time. So that aspect doesn't get highlighted enough, and that is what I often feel that particularly in the rural context, there is a demonstration of solar cooking. The cookers are loaded. People see that after 1 hour everything is cooked, but nobody really explains to them, or that their experience should include that, okay, you have loaded the cooker, now go away, take care of all your other work, and then come back and the food will be cooked. So that is also an important aspect which I think needs to be highlighted. That's my take on whatever I have seen in the field. And there is also a comment from Amit that he has a box type cooker from Devang, which is used mainly for reheating, but not really for cooking. And he's not convinced that it can be used for full scale cooking. So there are many people who have similar kind of their own personal take on this.
Hello everyone.
Yeah,
Hi,
hello,
Devang.
hello, Devang.
Hi Piyush. Hi Vishaka. Hi ma'am.
Hello.
Hello.
Actually, this sessions is about solar cooking. So you might have a लोग जो भी मेहनत कर रहे हैं अभी for solar cooking. still we feel that we are at the lower side. See the participant strength. Even yesterday also we were in the one event, so they were also looking for something fast, something fast. Visakha and Piyush know very well the solar box cooker can't do anything fast. But we have given in 1 hour, we have cooked rice in the 10-degree temperature. Because I can do that, I know how to use the solar cooker. If everyone knows how to use the solar cooker, they can also do that. How you can cook the faster. So more or we have to engage people, but still lot many users want to use the solar cooker, but they don't know where to buy. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
our reach is definitely lower. And if they are able to find that, so we have a challenge. It will get damaged during the transit. That is also biggest challenge. So that also we have come up with a lot many solutions. Still we are struggling to reach the last mile. But till that we have reached up to the Kargil and Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, and we have reached up to the Kanyakumari also. So it's a live ongoing process. But in next 5 to 10 years, we will definitely see that there is a change in perception of the people. But still, people want fast. So if they want fast, we don't have any option. So that is the biggest
No, but
challenge as per
that's, yeah. Yeah. No, but that's exactly why I'm saying is that we have to highlight the fact that the cooking time and the cook's time spent on cooking, these are two different things. And that is how one has to look at solar
yes.
cooking. I'm just going to read out a few comments from the chat. From 23.5 north to 23.5 south are the regions that can benefit the most. Maximum radiance is offered in these regions and is more vulnerable to climate change. Thanks for your offers and passion. Lean will actively look forward to support the ecosystem in next 3 years. This is a comment from Nitin Akhade, who has taken over charge as president of the board of directors of Clean recently. And I also echo what he's saying. Let me just go through some other comments quickly. Mr. Luther is saying that I'll be presenting on the topic of solar cooker promotion, getting cookers to people and adoption, motivating them to actually use them at the Console Food Conference in May 2025. I'm surveying nearly 700 purveyors of solar cookers who have posted their distribution numbers on the Solar Cookers International's distribution map. There's a link there which people can check out. Any online here, I welcome your input as to efforts to promote cookers and your successes and challenges in getting those in need to use their cookers. And his email address is there, so you can get in touch with him. The email address is museum@bigbluesun.net, museum at bigbluesun.net. Well, Soumya has a very encouraging comment for all solar cooker enthusiasts that after attending this session, I'm going to buy one for myself on my birthday this month. So I hope you will also share your experience with us. A question from Nitin. Can we add phase change material and expedite the heating operation and also enable controllability? Anyone wants to respond to that? Piyush, Vishakha?
Yes. There are many experiments going on with phase change material for solar cooking use. But we have had limited success with the phase change materials yet. Cost again would be another, and the weight of the solar cooker increases quite a bit by using the phase change materials. But the phase change materials, yes, are quite an effective source to improve the reliability of the solar cookers in the changing weathers. Phase change materials would be considered. Just some more innovation is required to make it more adoptable, is what I would say.
Yeah, and as Devang mentioned, and there are several solar cooker manufacturers who have been experimenting with this for a while, but we are not yet seeing any feasible products in the market, which would also be affordable. And so there are still challenges that I think people will have to overcome, because one, if that happens, then that addresses this whole, that you have to cook while the sun is shining in the sky, kind of a limitation that is there, because then you can store the energy when the sun is shining, and then cook even inside the house using that energy. So that would be the big advantage of the phase change materials. Nitin is saying that let's connect, and with our clean network, we can take the technology to all states and 8 to 10 African countries through our members. So we will definitely give focus to this. But what I would like to, I mean, based on this discussion that we have had, um, I think we can use this occasion of the 15 days of festival celebration, which is a festival focused on the sun, and the fact that the sun is returning back towards the north. So we can use this to effectively reach out to people, highlight all the various experiments that are happening in solar cooking, but also highlight these challenges and the opportunities that are there in solar cooking. What has happened over the years is that solar cookers sort of got bypassed in this whole transition towards clean cooking, although this is one technology which is both clean for people and clean for climate. Whereas fossil fuel based cooking is still using fossil fuel, so it is contributing to climate change. So from that perspective, use of renewable energy for cooking has a greater advantage. And it's being a free fuel, and all of those other factors are there, but there are challenges and there are still limitations on which solutions should be found. So if this 15 days period is used not just to highlight or celebrate solar cooking on the Facebook group, but also take that to more people, and clean would definitely help in this respect. We can use our network as well as our social media. This webinar also, there may be a few people in the number of people in the meeting may be small, but there were inquiries on the clean group that will be get this recording of this webinar. It was arranged in at a bit of a short notice, so that could also be the reason, but there is definitely interest. Recently an article was published on Urja Box in a local newspaper in Pune, and Vishakha was telling me that she has got unexpectedly huge response. So there is definitely interest in renewable energy for cooking, and particularly solar cooking. Also, I think this is something for solar cooking enthusiasts to think about, that uh, there is another approach, is that you accept the limitations, that this is where solar cookers will operate best, but what else can we combine it with? I mean, it doesn't have to be LPG primarily and solar cookers. Can it be solar cooking and biogas maybe, which then goes towards a renewable energy based cooking as a broader area, rather than just focusing on one technology. So that kind of a sort of a multi disciplinary approach is also needed, I feel, in the DRE sector, where people have also got used to working in their own technology silos. So there are some of these things to think about. Piyush, any last words from your side?
Yeah, I actually just wanted to add that one thing that we didn't discuss today, but it's probably worth mentioning, and Devang is also here, and Vishaka can also comment on this, is that solar dryers. Solar dryers seem to be doing pretty well. We also know of people, I think, based out of Pune and Bombay that do this at a commercial scale, working with farmer producer groups. And that seems to be an exciting space, which will also probably cross this rural-urban divide. It has advantages of energy saving, but also of hygiene, directly linked to livelihoods, higher quality production. So that's also a space that we should embrace. We are, of course, very open to it, but I think at a household level, maybe this drying thing remains very marginal. But that's a space I think that's pretty exciting. And maybe Devang and Vishaka, if we have 5 more minutes, they can come in on that aspect. Thank you.
Yes, drying combined with solar cooking actually makes the complete application, I would say, of the available solar energy. Otherwise, it's like you're wasting part of the solar energy. So, and both are complementary processes of food processing, I would say, wherein on one hand you use the solar energy for cooking and processing it further, like boiling or steaming, whatever. On the other hand, drying is a preservation technique, which is an age-old technique. And incidentally, this season, which starts from January until March, is the drying season officially. Also, because the air is dry and you have the right temperature, the right humidity in the air, so that you can dry things. So promoting solar cooking and drying together would make a lot of sense, or maybe have a cooker which has both applications together. And that would also increase the adoption of the solar cookers on a large scale.
So just quickly, a few comments. There is a mention of sunbuckets.com, who gave up on phase change materials in favor of a solid aluminum cylinder as a heat sink. So yeah, phase change materials have been sort of tried out, but not really very successfully. Then somebody is talking about yes, Amit also has biogas and he's happy with it. Nitin had to leave because of a flight. Yes, I mean, all of you who are here, as Amit is saying, if you are already using solar cookers, please make a video and share it on info@urjabox.com, info@orjabox.com. That's and there is a number 9422567442, 9422567442. So if you share these videos during this time period of Makar Sankranti to Ratha Saptami, it can add to the to this activity of focusing on solar cooking in these 15 days. So that's it. We are also at the end of our time for this webinar. But thank you very much for all the participation, in spite of the technical difficulties faced by everyone. Um, uh, but this was a very interesting discussion, and I hope that this activity will take off during the 15 days, and will also create a platform for more exciting things happening in the solar thermal space broadly, but particularly in the solar cooking space in 2025. Once again, thank you all for participating, and special thanks to Piyush and Vishakha for sharing with us about this interesting activity. Thank you all, and have a great evening.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much, Priyadarshini. And thanks, everybody who attended. Look forward to continued interaction on this.
Yeah, thanks to everyone. And we will continue the interaction through the Makar Sankranti to Ratha Saptami activity. And I would like to see more and more videos come in along with the recipes as well.